Namaste. I'm Pulkit Mathur, founder of the Spiritual Bee, and in an earlier video I had discussed how the laws of the Manusmriti, especially those which relate to menstruation, to a woman's ability to do puja or enter temples on the days of her periods, I had discussed how these Manusmriti laws have become obsolete and cannot be applied in today's modern times. As Swami Vivekananda emphasized to his brother disciple Swami Vijnanananda, the old Smritis are now obsolete. It is time to write a new Smriti according to the need of the present age. So why did Swami Vivekananda say this? Why have the Smriti laws become obsolete? Let us understand this point in a little more detail from Swami Vivekananda himself as well as from Swami Sivananda of the Divine Life Society. So the first thing we must understand is that the whole of the Hindu scriptures can be divided into 6 categories. The Shrutis, by which are meant the Vedas and the Upanishads, the Smritis, by which are meant the Dharma Shastras such as the Manusmriti, the books of Itihas such as the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, the Puranas, the Agamas which comprise the Tantras, Yantras and Mantras, and finally the Darshanas. Of all these books, the Shrutis are the primary authority. Their authority is underscored by the term Shruti itself, which means that which is heard. Great rishis heard, that is, they experienced pratyaksh or directly for themselves, the eternal spiritual truths and left a record of them for the benefit of posterity. These records of aparoksh anubhuti or intuitive spiritual experiences of the rishis in the state of superconscious samadhi constitute the Vedas and their subsections the Upanishads. Being records of aparoksha anubhuti, the Vedas are termed as Shruti or knowledge revealed directly by God. Hence Shruti is considered the primary scriptural authority. In contrast, the word Smriti means that which is remembered. Smriti is a recollection of the experiences recorded in the Shruti. Hence, Smritis are secondary in authority to the Shruti. Now, there are 5 crucial points that we must learn about our Smriti Shastras. Only then can we understand why Smritis such as the Manusmriti have become obsolete in today's times. So, let us see what these 5 points are. We begin by first and foremost understanding that the word Smriti is used within Hinduism in 2 different contexts. In the first context, the word Smriti is used to refer specifically to the Dharma Shastras, that is to the law books such as the Manusmriti. In the first context, only the Dharma Shastras are called as the Smritis, whereas in the second context, the word Smriti is used to more broadly cover all Hindu Shastras except for the Vedas. When used in this second context, the Upanishads, which are a part of the Vedas, are classified as Shruti, while the Bhagavad Gita, which is a part of the Mahabharata, is classified as Smriti. Now, the second point to note about our Smriti Shastras is that if there is anything in the Smriti which contradicts the Shruti, then that teaching of the Smriti is to be rejected. This law is applicable for both the contexts in which the word Smriti is used. Thus, if there is anything in the other 5 categories of the scriptures which contradicts the highest truths of the Vedas, then that particular teaching is to be rejected. As Swami Vivekananda has explained, the Puranas and other religious scriptures are all denoted by the word Smriti, and their authority goes so far as they follow the Vedas and do not contradict them. We admit that the Smritis have been written by particular sages, but these Smritis are not the final authority. If there is anything in a Smriti which contradicts the Vedanta, that is, which contradicts the highest teachings of the Vedas, then the Smriti, that is, that particular teaching of the Smriti, is to be rejected. Its authority is gone. Now, having understood this second point about our Smriti Shastras, we shall, for the rest of this video, refer specifically to the Dharma Shastras or the law books alone as the Smritis. Keeping this notation in mind, let us now take the third step towards understanding why Smritis such as the Manusmriti have become obsolete. We do this by visiting the third fact which answers the questions, what is the purpose of the Smritis? If the Vedas capture the direct knowledge of God, why then were the Smritis such as the Manusmriti written? What was the need for them? The need, as Swami Sivananda has explained, was that the Smritis, along with the Puranas, Itihas, etc., were composed to further explain the abstract teachings of the Vedas and the Upanishads, so that people could clearly understand the principles and apply them in their daily lives. The Smritis, such as the Manusmriti in particular, were formulated to propagate dharma or righteous conduct within society. For this reason, these books are also known as the Dharma Shastras or the duty scriptures, and they laid down specific rules to guide individuals and communities in their daily conduct and to regulate their manners and customs. The Dharma Shastras, such as the Manusmriti, prescribed certain acts, prohibited certain others, and outlined for people their national, social, family, and individual obligations. So, guiding people towards the right duty in the various stages of life according to the conditions of the times was the intended purpose of the Smritis such as the Manusmriti. Now, some of you may be thinking, then why don't we follow these Smriti laws today? Why did Swami Vivekananda say that these laws have become obsolete? The answer to these questions is found in the fourth point about the Smritis. And this point is that the Smriti laws are not permanent. They cannot be copy-pasted and applied uniformly to all times and under all conditions, forever for eternity. The Smritis, as a matter of fact, have been written for specific times only. Their rules are dependent upon the social conditions and situations prevailing at a particular time. As these surroundings and essential conditions of the Hindu society changed from time to time, new Smritis were compiled by the sages to keep pace with the changing times. So the Smritis have varied from time to time. Swami Vivekananda has explained this fact in tremendous detail in several of his lectures. Here is what he has said. We have to understand a little about our scriptures. In our books, a clear distinction is made between two sets of truths. The one set is that which abides forever, what we call the eternal, and the other is not so authoritative, yet binding under particular circumstances, times and places. The eternal relations which deal with the nature of the soul's relation to God, the nature of God and so on, are embodied in what we call the Shrutis, the Vedas. These principles are unchangeable. Why? Because the truths about the soul and God can never change. They were the same thousands of years ago, they are the same today, they will be the same millions of years hence. But those religious practices, which are based entirely upon our social position and correlation, must change with changes in society. These relative or temporary truths, which are binding only under particular circumstances, times and places, are what we call the Smritis, and are embodied in the words of Manu, Yagyavalkya and other writers. This set comprises the minor laws which guided the workings of our everyday life. Even in our own nation, these minor laws have been changing all the time. Such a law which would be good and true at a certain period would not be so at another. For example, we find that a certain food has been allowed at one time and not another, because the food was suitable for that time, but climate and other things changed, various other circumstances required to be met, so the Smriti changed the food and other things. We also read that such and such Smriti should have authority in Satyug, such and such in Treta Yuga, some in Dwapar Yuga, some in Kal Yuga and so on. As essential conditions changed, as various circumstances came to have their influence on the race, manners and customs had to be changed. And these Smritis, as mainly regulating the manners and customs of the nation, had also to be changed from time to time. Now, having understood that the Smriti laws are not permanent but keep on changing, the fifth and final point to understand is that just because we stop following the old Smriti laws today, this does not mean that Hinduism will come under threat and fall in danger of vanishing. Not so at all. On the contrary, it is the blind dogmatic allegiance to old customs of the past and unthinkingly copy-pasting them into the present which will cause Hindu society and consequently Hinduism to decay and die. As Swami Vivekananda has emphasized, Smriti customs of one age, of one yuga, have not been the customs of another, and as yuga comes after yuga, they will still have to change. Thus it naturally follows that if in modern times our society requires changes to be made, they must be met, but not one jot of the principles of our religion will be changed, they will remain intact. Why will the principles of Hinduism not change? Because the eternal truths found in the Vedas, in the Shrutis, are the real and central support for Hinduism. These truths, being omnipresent universal virtues, hold true for all times and under all conditions, and every Hindu must accept them. Why must every Hindu accept the Vedas? Because the Vedas are the words of the Rishis, and you have to believe them if you want to become a Hindu. The Vedas and nothing but these are our scriptures. The Puranas, the Tantras and all other books are of secondary, tertiary authority, but primary are the Vedas. If you deny the authority of the Vedas, you are a Nastik, meaning atheist. So upholding the eternal spiritual truths of the Shrutis guarantees the preservation and continuity of Hinduism. It is the day we give up the central pillar of the Vedas that Hinduism will come under threat and vanish. Therefore, it is very important that we learn to distinguish between the eternal truths of the Vedas and the minor social customs and rules outlined in the Smritis. The Vedas can never be given up, but the Smritis can. The Vedas are eternal, but the Smritis will have an end. As time rolls on, more and more of the Smritis will go, sages will come, and they will change and direct society into better channels, into duties and into paths which accord with the necessity of the age, and without which it is impossible that society can live. We have always to remember that just because a little social custom is going to be changed, you are not going to lose your religion. Not at all. Remember, these customs have already been changed. This last sentence of Swami Vivekananda is especially relevant for all those people who feel that Hinduism will somehow come under threat if women of menstruating age are allowed to enter the Sabarimala shrine, or if women start doing puja and meditation or start touching kitchen utensils during their periods. On the contrary, as Swami Vivekananda has already pointed out, and as we have discussed in depth in the previous video, letting go of this old Manusmriti custom of observing Sutak or a period of impurity during menstruation, letting go of this old Manusmriti custom will not hurt Hinduism one bit. Instead, Hinduism will be strengthened 1,000-fold as the Matra Shakti of the nation is elevated and given its long overdue respect. The laws of the Manusmriti relating to menstrual hygiene, which were valid in the past, have now become totally outdated in the face of modern hygiene products. Therefore, it is not possible to follow these laws of the Manusmriti at the present time. Society is advancing. When it advances, it outgrows certain laws which were valid and helpful at a particular stage of its growth. Many new things which were not thought out by the old lawgivers have come into existence now. It is no use insisting people to follow now those old laws which have become obsolete. So to conclude, Smritis such as the Manusmriti are largely obsolete today. The times and conditions of Hindu society have changed substantially. Therefore, as Swami Vivekananda has said, it is time to write a new Smriti according to the need of the present age. Keeping this very important teaching of Swami Vivekananda in mind, let us end this video. Many thanks for your donations which support the creation of such videos. If you are a new viewer and you want to lend your karma towards the upliftment of women and towards the propagation of the genuine teachings of Vedanta, then do donate to the Spiritual Bee Foundation. Change can come in society only when the correct teachings of our rishis propagate. So lend in your support.